Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Lisa Stone and Elisa Camahort Page.
Wow, hi everybody. Hello. We are so ready for tonight. We are so ready for tonight.
Yes.
And to kick off that conversation, we wanted to talk to you about a project the entire BlogHer team has been working on with so many of you. Since 2005, Elisa, Jory, and I have been really committed to the dream of creating a global stage on which we could create an opportunity for us all to share our stories, our causes, our goals, and yes, make money. We think it's so important for women to be paid for their work. So today we're going to talk about how, as we announced at the opening, from 2009 to 2011, BlogHer paid women and men who blog more than $17 million. 4,250 bloggers were paid to write. And this afternoon, we're going to share why we believe and know that we are just getting started. Elisa?
Well, our mission, if we could go to the next slide, possibly. So this is our mission, to create opportunities. We wrote this mission sitting around a table in Lisa's kitchen after the very first BlogHer, to create opportunities for women in social media to pursue exposure, education, community, and economic empowerment. We're not going to talk a real long time here. We'd actually love to hear from you about what you're hoping to achieve in the next year until the next BlogHer. Maybe you want to continue doing what you heard about from Soledad, Christy, and Malak and continue to make a real tangible difference in the world. Maybe you want to expand your work with your blog so that you are contributing even more to your household income. Maybe you want to advocate for a political cause. But in any case, we'd like to know, as always, what we can do to help. First, a little history. So in 2005, Lisa, Jory, and I co-hosted the first BlogHer conference in Santa Clara to answer that question: where are the women who blog? We knew there were lots of women who blog. At that time, it was a labor of love. We just put the announcement out there that we wanted to do this thing. 120 days later, 300 people showed up. We thought we were going to split it on our credit cards. As we always used to say, you know, at that time, we weren't a company. We weren't a for-profit. We weren't a nonprofit. We were three chicks with credit cards. And we split that on our credit cards, and we just thought we'd pay ourselves back and move along. But when we got your feedback, and this was, imagine the days pre-Twitter, we got your feedback in emails, we got your feedback in comments and in blog posts, we got your feedback in a post-conference survey, which I hope you will all take when we send it out next week. And there were three things that you asked for, three pieces of feedback. And the first was more conferences, please, because really nothing beats seeing you all face to face and meeting the people you love in person. But the second piece of feedback was, but I'd like to find them every day. I'd like to find all those other women who care about that exact thing I care about every single day. And I found something I think I'm pretty good at and I love. And I'd like to know if there's a better business model. I'd like to know if I can get paid for doing this kind of work. So we wrote that mission at a dining room table, and then we proceeded to do all three. We had more conferences. We launched BlogHer.com to be both a directory of women who blog and to feature, like the TV guide, the best of what women were saying. And we launched our publishing network. We were, at the time, the only network who actually had no traffic requirements, didn't care how big your blog was. We cared how good it was, and whether you were willing to sign on to our editorial guidelines and moderate your community to have reasonable and civil conversations, even on the most sometimes uncivil topics. Today, it is actually true that the majority of women who read blogs in the English language are reading BlogHer network blogs.
We're calling this the BlogHer Economy because we believe this entire initiative is based on trust, the trust that we place in each other, the reason we read each other's blogs, the reason that we are so influential with each other and our readers. It's making an enormous difference. I think that for those of us who have been inspired and moved by other people's blogs, there's just no way to put a dollar amount on it. There's no way to put an advertising rate behind it. There's no way that anyone could ever fully reflect the way I think so many of us have changed each other's lives. But I think that it's important to note that since credibility is something that bloggers asked us for in 2005, one of the ways in which women in particular have established ourselves is by being recognized, by being paid for our work. And I think that the brands in the expo hall here at this conference are representative of undeniable cred. So congratulations, because it's a reflection of the power that you wield on your blogs. We asked the effect. I mentioned earlier this has made a big difference, this BlogHer Economy. So we surveyed the 4,250 women and men who've been part of this network, who've been paid this $17 million over the past 3 years, 2009 to 2011. And here's how you shared with us. You have used this income. Next one.
So over half of you are simply using this money to spend it on discretionary items, taking your family out to dinner, doing projects around the house. And in this economic time, which has been the worst economic time of my lifetime, I don't know about everyone in the room, it's that kind of discretionary spending that will help us move the economy forward. It needs for us to spend more than the basics, so that other people can start businesses, so that businesses can stay in business. So I think that the impact and importance of being able to have a little extra income to do these things cannot be underestimated. And of course, this quote from our own Lakeitha is an example of that, spending that money to just have a little more, do a little more, and feel a little more comfortable about it.
Yeah, we didn't do the green eye shade econometric survey we could have done of the ripple effect of these 17 million. So that's a little project for next year. Okay. On the next slide, you'll see the 43% of the people in our community who invested some of this income in their own blog and social media businesses. You know, last year at our inaugural Pathfinder Day, it was really invigorating for me to moderate the panel by Catherine Finney of the Budget Fashionista and Reed Drummond, the Pioneer Woman, where both of them extolled the women in the audience to invest in their blog businesses. Even the smallest investment in your own brand, from design to technology to business cards to what have you, can make a huge difference. They're really obviously great case studies for that. And it gives us permission as small businesses or growing businesses to invest in ourselves when we generate that revenue ourselves. And so what we'll talk about in a minute is the ways in which we are rolling out next Tuesday an entirely new series of tools that should be able to be used by you, whether you're in our network or not, because you won't have to be in order to use them.
And investing in your blog business probably makes a lot more sense than when I used to work at Macy's in college selling shoes and invested in that business, where my whole paycheck went back every week. But some of this money went to far more serious and basic income and revenue needs. 16% of you paid for your groceries with your BlogHer checks. And for a lot, we gathered a lot of stories, and Beth's is just one example of people who, because of this economy, were going through some tough times and found that the money they were making with their words and their work helped bridge the gap, helped get them through.
And it didn't stop with groceries. We also found that 12% of the 4,250 people we paid through advertising revenue shares and direct payments for writing, editorial, and advertorial paid mortgages and paid rents. Zachary Watson of Raising Colorado is a particular success story. In addition to paying for her daughter's insulin, she's doing a number of things with her revenue share.
And then finally, we had a number of you that said that you either paid off or avoided debt. We had one great story, and we don't have the quote here, I don't think, of a member who was able to help their kid go to college without incurring a ton of student loan debt. And that is such, now for many students, it's such a crushing thing. They leave college with massive amount of debt already on their books. And so that was the story that she told us.
So now we want to talk about an entirely new ballgame, because as we've been developing this company, we've been growing up as a community, and new technologies have been growing up around us. So our mission and our commitment needs to continue, but we need to expand our technology and our services to help support you in that. We've done that.
So starting on Tuesday, we're launching 3 new services. We're launching a way for you to take credit for and therefore be able to be monetized for your entire social graph. So many of these tools weren't a factor when we launched our network. We've always been platform agnostic when it comes to your blog, and we want to become platform agnostic when it comes to where you carry your influence and where your influence, can be enacted with your community. You will not have to be a member of our BlogHer publishing network to take advantage of these new tools. You will not have to run ads on your blogs to do it. So it's an answer to folks who don't want to perhaps give that real estate, but want to, again, leverage their influence in a different kind of way. So as of Tuesday, your BlogHer.com profile is where you'll be able to build up and basically be able to essentially put out your shingle of what your presence is and what your social graph is.
In fact, if you'll go to the next slide, you'll see that the new BlogHer.com is going to be the place where any work that you do with BlogHer is going to be headquartered. So, beginning Tuesday morning, if you come to the site, you'll see this image on the left, an opportunity to click through and find our influencer services. Elisa described the social graph signups. In addition, if you are currently a BlogHer Ads network member or would like to become one, you can also click on this part of the site and come to sign up. Why does that matter? It matters because it's going to centralize all of your relationship with BlogHer in one place. It's funny, when we started in 2005, and a significant number of people said we'd like to be paid for our work, we were very cognizant of the fact that it was a brand new thing to consider user-generated publishing for the kind of advertising rates that we now charge. And so we started a separate site on BlogHerAds.com. Starting Tuesday, it will all be rolled up into a single site. I think it's really exciting because, 2012, thanks to our kick-ass sales team, our advertising sales are up 50% year over year. So the dollars that we're going to be able to share, if you're in BlogHer sales team, wave your arms in the air, because these people are unbelievable. They're unbelievable, unbelievable. And so what that means is that the reputation that your blogs have for quality, the disclosure, the guidelines that we all signed, the fact that we've been working to slowly introduce so many brands to the value and influence of women-led and women-focused communities has changed the whole game. So today, in fact, I don't know if you're aware, but BlogHer's food network, for example, is the 3rd largest in the United States. I mean, it's enormous. It's incredibly valuable because when we go out as a collective. We're not talking about one blog, we're talking about a community of blogs.
And we mentioned last night about our Open Road Integrated Media Partnership, and we mentioned the Voices of the Year anthology, which is going to be the first ebook that we put out with them. But what we didn't mention until tonight is that that's actually part of a larger partnership that we have signed on with them. We do intend to do multiple anthologies every single year. We do intend to create these works out of people from the community and their voices, and when we do, you will be paid for that work and be paid to be published, and that is yet another way that we are reaching out and hoping to bring more opportunity to the women in our community.
Then lastly, I just want to quickly mention, if you are interested in extending the session length on your blog and you are interested in using some of the highest advertising rates available in the digital space, you should consider coming to BlogHer.com on Tuesday, clicking on that influencer box, and signing up for BlogHer TV. You do not have to be a member of the publishing network to run it. I think I'm right. It's one of the options you have as an opt-in, much like the social graph editions. You can see here a great video of Catherine McCord from Relicious, I think making the world's best peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's a 15-second pre-roll ad that runs. There's a companion ad below. There's relevant video content that people continue to watch. It's always click to play. We won't force audio or video onto your audience without permission. And we will always put the kinds of quality video that we have found a post-Katie, post-Martha trained audience really wants to see in order to watch it. So I think that if we start with the 3 channels, we're working with now food, style, and an interesting combination of humor and inspiration, like Gretchen Rubin from the Happiness Project has done some videos. Go Gretchen. I think that you'll see why they're so valuable to the advertiser, and I think also, again, valuable to your community. I need to recognize the work of 3 people who led these efforts. Jenny Lauk, the vice president of our publishing team, has been working with Sky Kalayan and Jennifer Monroe and the whole team representing the publishers. Stacy Morrison, our wonderful editor-in-chief, who has been developing the content programming and working with our friends at the video player Kaltura to roll this out. She'll continue to roll out more video. If you're interested in providing us with video or you want to be one of the shows on this television channel, Stacy's your person. And then lastly, Rob Potter, who is our VP of Technology. Rob oversaw the development of this whole initiative.
Yeah, so don't show this next slide until I give you the physical sign. Because first of all, we'd like to thank you. This has been, we say this every year, and you know what? We mean it every year. This has been the best BlogHer ever.
Thank you.
And thank you
very
all
much
for being
Thank
a part
you.
of it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The only thing missing was Jory, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was super. And I can't tell you how pleased our keynotes have been with the warm response they got, the smart questions, the great ideas that came from you all. Everyone's been commenting on them backstage.
Yeah, it's awesome. So now there's this other little thing we always announce when we're, at some general session with all the people. We always talk a little bit about where we're going to be next year. And so now you can show people where we are going for BlogHer 13. Oh, it's not on there. So unless you recognize the skyline, BlogHer 13 was coming back to Chicago July 25th through 27th. So we're in July, back in July. And it joins the schedule. We announced BlogHer Food already June 7th and 8th in Austin, Texas, y'all. And BlogHer Entrepreneurs, our event for entrepreneurial women, which we're still going to announce the dates, but that should be in Q1. And this is our 2013 schedule. We will open registration for BlogHer Chicago on September 1st. I know we often have it ready right now, but biggest conference ever took a little more out of us. So we are still working on some things. We're going to announce registration on September 1st and open it up. We will be at McCormick Place and the Chicago Sheraton. The Sheraton is where we were in 2009, so that's where we'll be for the evenings. But during the day, in order to accommodate what I hear are the ever larger audiences for most of the programming, we will be at McCormick Place, which will give us so much more room to grow and so much more room to grow the event in general. And so those are our 3 conferences on the schedule. So we will issue our call for ideas for both food and the annual conference in the fall. That is how early we ask for your ideas. I urge you to submit your ideas. A lot of you grab me in the hall and start telling me your ideas, and that's great, but my mind can only hold so much. We will issue that call for ideas. And like I said, I think I've said many, many times, every BlogHer annual conference, 80% of the speakers are new to the BlogHer annual conference. You actually have an edge if you haven't spoken before. We encourage new voices, fresh voices. We encourage you to submit people you wish you had heard here that weren't here. We encourage you to submit new ideas that you wished were talked about. Let's talk about them, and that will be coming in the fall. Please all submit.
So, we've just thrown a bunch of stuff at you, and we would love to hear what you think of it. We have we're totally happy to take questions about some of these initiatives or hear any general feedback or thoughts on Chicago and these other events that we have planned. I think the last thing I would mention, though, is that we should give a quick preview of what we're going to do tonight, because we have a number of major initiatives, starting with the first ever inaugural BlogHer Fashion Show.
Right. So here's what's going on. And I should mention, for those of you who are wondering, the Swag Recycle Suite is open till 6 p.m. tonight, but it's also open in the morning tomorrow. So please go if you have anything that you want to make sure goes to good use, either by other people here who want it, or we take the leftover things and we donate them to local organizations. So if you have anything, please visit the Recycle Suite. There's also shipping materials up there that you can ship things home if you want to, and the hotel will, you cover your own charges, but they'll take care of handling it for you. So that's one little logistic bit.
So actually, the first event right after this is none other than the Social Fiesta. Am I right?
No, actually, it's the Come As You Are. I was saying that all day, and I was wrong. So I totally...
I'm sorry.
So we kick off with the Come As You Are party, which is co-hosted by the Aiming Low gals and the Mouthy Housewives. And they are in, and this party is on the second floor in the Beekman. Then we have our first ever fashion show. It's right here in the ballroom. They're going to turn this room so quick you won't believe it. The actual show will kick off at 8:15. Doors open at 7:45. You have 19 of your fellow blogger community members walking the runway, which is awesome. Then the Fiesta, so it's totally my mistake. Then the Fiesta, which is in the Sutton Ballroom, also second floor. And you're going to have the Fiesta these last few years has been where you find the hot food, the hot music. Wepa! That's right. And the hot dancing boys, right? Do we have them back? All right, all right. And then finally, we close the conference, as we've closed it for, 6 years now. It's been the after party for BlogHer with a little cheeseburger action. And that's up on America's 2, where the People's Party and Sparkle Corn were. And that's our party schedule for tonight. You are all, you're going to party your asses off, shall I say, for the next few hours.
Once Katie broke the word, I'm going to block his ass. I just can't stop saying it. I've just been saying it.
She broke that barrier, you know.
She did.
Now we just want to say it all the time.
It's so fun. So that's your lineup. Questions? Thank you. The party hosts really deserve a huge round of applause. Those people, the mouthy housewives will be mouthy. The aiming lowers will aim nice and low. That's a great way to start. I love those women. So what should we talk about? Do you have some questions for us about some of the business model issues that we brought up? I hope you...
I see a question all the way in the back. But here's one right here. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We'll start here, and we have Mike Wrangler. Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Okay. Hi. My blog, one of the things that I decided I was going to do is part of the income that I get, whatever, I want to give it to charity. So is there a channel through which, I could direct it to the charity and you guys can put it in yourself?
So is the question, you'd like to participate in some income from your blog and you're wondering...
To give it away to charity, basically. A little
to
bit
give it
of
away to charity?
To give back, yeah.
So here's what we do. When you have a BlogHer influencer profile, there are a couple of different ways we can pay you. You can have a PayPal account. We have an ACH account for your bank if you like. And really, it's up to you. So you can donate it right into charity. Well, in your PayPal, it would be super easy. Thanks. Great question. Yes?
First of all, girls, thank you. It was wonderful, absolutely marvelous, and yet another very successful BlogHer.
Thank you for making that happen.
Shout out
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Second question, statement. You had over to the right, you had another little sign that said BlogHer Entrepreneurs.
Yes.
When and where?
Okay.
Sorry, I thought I had said we don't have the exact date or location, but it will be in Q1 again. Okay. So January through March sometime, probably March.
In Silicon Valley. And that is our conference. It's aimed at helping women who want to start something through technology do so. It's on the website. If you go and look at last year's agenda, you'll get a good sense of what we do with a management track, a technology track, and an entrepreneur track. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I know you've been doing BlogHer for a long time and it's getting bigger and bigger. What do you all do so y'all don't be so stressed out? You look so great. You don't look worried at all.
I'm worried we don't have enough honesty between us in this community. You know, honestly, I have to tell you, this is we always just try to like let our hair down in the closing session. I mean, I just, if I look a little drained, I'm a little drained. Are you?
Oh, I think she was saying we look good, right?
You know, I have to tell you, we have the hardest working colleagues in the world here, and they're fantastic. We love working with the BlogHer team. Thank you.
It was a really different story. In 2006, it really was like the three of us and about a handful of volunteers, and we were running around. And I think it's off the internet now, and I'm really glad because I let someone interview me at the closing party, and I was sitting at a table, and I had my chin in my hand, and by the end of the interview, I was slid over like this, and I looked so wretched. And I'm pretty sure it's gone now, and that's a good thing. But now we have this fantastic team, and it really makes a world of difference.
And we want to thank you guys again for hosting such popular panels. I've been hearing about them all day. The community-led panels, I really want to encourage you to take Elisa's advice and recommend some panels because people are so happy with what you brought to the conference. So congrats. Yes, ma'am. We have a question here? And here? Oh, go for it. I'm not trying to cut you off. I didn't know you'd already chose someone, but you next.
And then maybe go to the back and then to the front. Okay.
I just want to say this is my fourth BlogHer, and I've
Welcome.
worked closely. It's Renee.
Welcome.
And what I've noticed is the great diversity, and so I just wanted to applaud you on the fact that the conference has become so much more
thank you.
diverse. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Well, thank you for supporting that and voicing that support because it's something we're committed to.
We actually are very committed to about half our women speakers this year were women of color. But we also think about diversity across many dimensions, age and orientation and ideology in the political panels. And all of those things are things we pay very close attention to. And we do a lot of outreach into communities. And we ask you to spread the word to your communities, whatever they may be. Because it's what makes this conference what it is.
Yeah,
so thank you.
Lisa's team turns over the speakers 85% every single year because we came from Silicon Valley where we kept going to the same technology conferences where the same 10 white guys spoke all the time and we were like, and decided to change that. So thanks. Next question. Yeah, gentlemen. Oh, lady.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Fungai Machirori from Zimbabwe. I'm one of the international activists that you sponsored to
Congratulations
come
on
here.
winning the scholarship.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that I was actually meant to come to the conference last year, but the day I went for I got denied a visa on the same day that my father passed away. And you guys had booked everything for me to come, and I felt so bad saying that I couldn't make it. I didn't get the visa, and I'd had a family emergency. And I thought that was the end of it. But then early this year, I got an email from Jess before she left, and she said, we haven't forgotten you, and if you'd like to come this year, we're willing to try again. So for me, just all the effort that I've interacted with Polly and I've interacted with Shannon, the effort that they put into getting me here and, finally I'm here. I really appreciate that. And I think it's so important that you keep bringing people from different backgrounds, different continents here so that they can see what people are doing in the blogging world and get an appreciation, as well as for the people here to get an appreciation of what we do. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the effort.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Now we need to get Yoani Sanchez out of Cuba so she can come next year because she also was denied a visa last year, and we missed her as well. Thank you for joining us. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Shaitan Turner. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My blog's called Shaitan's World. It's my first time here, so thank you.
Welcome.
Wonderful day. I wish I'd come earlier because today was way overwhelming. But anyway, my question is about BlogHer TV. You mentioned that you guys were soliciting like topics and things. If you could explore a little bit more about what you might be looking for in terms of topics and length.
Sure. I'd like to know, is Stacy in the house? The lights are right. I would like to hand it over to our editor-in-chief who's actually in charge of that.
Hi, that's a great question, and thank you for asking. I've been talking to a lot of different community members about video, which is why my voice is a little hoarse. So, BlogHer TV, as it's a small player that exists on all of your blogs, and so it's not running in line with content, so it's not like you're writing about turkey, and so I know and can put a turkey video. So what my focus is that it should be entertaining, remarkable personalities. Yes, it's great if there's information, but what I'm really looking for is just someone I can't stop watching. Sort of like Catherine or Girls with Glasses, who is a really fun video fashion team that's in BlogHer TV now. It's very short form, 3 minutes or less. I'm really looking and would love to find videos that are a minute or less to create interstitial. But the categories, as we mentioned, are in fashion and beauty, food, and food can be so many different things than just cooking. Again, I would love variety in that channel. And then the third one is humor and inspiration, which are more related than you think. So if you're interested and have something that you'd like to see, I wish I had a separate email. Oh, that's great. So, but I'm just trying to think. So my email is stacy@blogher.com, and now that I've said that, it's going to take me 5 months to get back to all of you. But I will eventually. So high entertainment value, personality, and on BHTV, it's critical that the production values are very high, which I know is very hard. Not all of you have light kits in your home. Not all of you have a separate mic to feed into the video, but that's something we'll continue to work with and develop with all of you at our conferences and otherwise so that you can see the ways to raise the production values of your video. So thanks.
Thanks, Stacy. I think that 2 URLs I would mention. One is blogher.com/video, and of course, what we're really doing here is we're leveraging the thousands of blogs in our network as a cable distribution network, right? There's lots of amazing, excellent, independent and professionally produced video online. Getting it watched by a group of women is almost impossible these days, right? So we can really bring to the community of marketers who have this pre-roll advertising an opportunity that they can't get anywhere else. So that's why it's being presented to us. The second thing is that we'll invite Stacy to write a post about what she's doing with it, and you can leave your thoughts in the comments. That would be a great way to recruit it. Okay.
I'm Missy from bittenandbound.com.
Hello.
How are you?
I love bittenandbound.com.
Yeah, and we love you.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so my idea for a panel or advocate is I would love to be an advocate for healthcare for BlogHer. For me, BlogHer has saved my family's life.
Bitten and Bound is a very, very, very successful entertainment blog. It is professionally produced. It's absolutely excellent. Missy's a big success.
With that being said, out of the money that I've made from your wonderful company, $100,000 or more has gone towards medical bills because we can't get health insurance. So I would love for somebody to help me have the platform to get this message out about people like myself who make too much money to get assistance, but yet owe too much money to medical to be able to afford it. So,
thanks, Missy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Carrie Bradshaw.
Hi, Carrie.
And there were a lot of us at the sex panel this morning. And thank you all for coming. That was
Gosh,
fun.
sometimes I hate when I have to work.
And I was just wondering, with all this new platform and everything, I'm a sex blogger, and we talk a lot about sex, and I know that limits kind of publishing on your guys' network and the kind of things that you guys can publish, and I totally understand that with sponsors. But I was wondering what kind of limitations are going to be on the BlogHer TV humor. I mean, I do hilarious stuff with dildos, but I know that's probably not going to work on BlogHer. And so I was just wondering what other limitations in those coming forth are going to be there just before we try to pitch with you or anything.
No problem. So I'm going to provide some general outlines about how our publishing guidelines work. So since 2006, when we launched our network, BlogHer has had the editorial guidelines. This requires three basic things. One is that you publish to the basic tenets of good online journalism. If you use someone's content, you only use fair use segment, you give credit, you give photo credit, you link back, et cetera, et cetera. The second thing is that we ask that if you do put up advertising and editorial, that you label it or disclose it when it is advertising. There are lots of different ways to do that. We've actually loosened up our policies a little bit over the years on how you can disclose. We used to have one way of doing things, and now we have many more realistic ways, and Sky and Jenny have done a lot of that. And the third is that we wanted to, sorry, I just got lost in almost dropping the microphone. The third thing is we wanted to make sure that you were managing your comments, right? No hate or harassment. Hate the idea, don't hate the ideator. Now, when it comes down to what is appropriate or acceptable to advertisers, we've had, from the beginning, the ability to be what advertisers call ad safe, which is to say that we ask you to specifically indicate if you do not use profanity on your blog. There are 13 basic terms that some advertisers find unacceptable. And what we always wanted to do was for you all to be able to exercise your right to blog who you are in your own voice. And if you wanted to use profanity, you'd probably have a lot of advertising from entertainment. You know, when certain movies launch, they don't care, you know, if you're using all kinds of different words. But there are some products that really don't want their brand next to profanity. So we've always had the ability for you to disclose, are you ad safe? Do you not use profanity, so that we can put the majority number of brand advertising? This leads me to the sex category. So from the beginning, our conference sponsorships have included some of the most fantastic sex-positive brands in the world. I don't want to show any favoritism, but Eden's Fantasies was like a lockdown, sold out.
Well, they've been here 3 years now. And you know what? After the first year, people now want to make sure they're in the booth next to them, when they used to want to be away from them.
So we've had a really positive response to that, and they're certainly not the only sponsor. Online, it's a new category, or would be a new category for us. In the open road integrated media collections, of which we'll do 6 a year in a digital format that supports video, and Stacy will be overseeing, and her team, like Rita and Julie Godar and Denise Taunton, will be overseeing those collections. Sex is of enormous interest, 50 Shades of, you know, sex-positive publishing later. So we will be, I'm sure, looking at some of it there. And I think that when it comes to BlogHer TV submissions, you should talk to Stacy afterward. Will we ever open an actual sex vertical in our publishing network? Right now, we have 7 major verticals: food, family, entertainment, beauty/style is a huge new category for us, health and wellness, technology, business, and of course, in election year, we're taking some political advertising. We make sure when we hear from one campaign or one side, we call the other one and say, you sure you don't want to make that buy in Chicago? But when it comes to sex and that category, it's one we'll always explore. If you wanted to make a case for it, you could talk to our wonderful publishing team after. That was a very long-winded explanation. And someone who would like to talk to you about sex just raised her hand. Yes. Denise, thank you, Denise. Denise Taunton, Senior Community Manager. Thanks for letting me give such a long answer.
My name's Jill. My blog is One Good Thing by Jilly. And I just want to say, first of all, you guys always look fabulous. I love your outfits. You just look so beautiful. I missed Jory being here, and I wish her the best, and I hope we find out on the blog, about how everything went. And I just wanted to thank you for inviting us all here and allowing me to meet all these amazing women.
They are amazing, aren't they? They are amazing women.
Amazing women.
Thank you for
I
coming.
was able to go to Milwaukee with Missy, and all the women I went with there were awesome. So I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity, because I had not met one other blogger in my entire lifetime until Milwaukee, until here. So it's been a wonderful experience, and I just wanted to thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry. It's me up here. Hello.
I'm sorry. Thank you. The lights are so killing me. I can't even
And I'm
see.
usually so sparkly. I think you know me. I'm Jessica from burnthis.com. How are you?
Hi.
What I've been wanting to know for quite some time is original content, like original, not sex-oriented, not anything, like, original programming, a web series. Like, are you willing to try to see if you can support that? Because, basically, I started with BlogHer in 2008, and I found this world through you. And through this world, I've come to a point in my life where I've created this series that I know is incredibly relatable and hopefully funny for everybody here. But it would be an honor, and it would be, I think, just sort of a nice full circle experience to have come here knowing nothing about blogging at all, having been through what I've been through in my life, like many of us, through the support, and made it through the support of fellow bloggers, without a doubt in my mind. And then to come through and to go full circle and to have something that is fictional and yet not mean, funny, about the world that you've introduced, certainly me to, and many of us to.
Well, I would say that there's an enormous interest in original programming from the BlogHer.com editorial team. I realize my voice is getting lower and lower. I'm getting tireder and tireder.
It's pretty
I'm like
hot,
running
Lisa.
down. So I'm going to ask Stacy to go ahead and take this one as well, because if I don't, she'll grab my foot.
And so she doesn't say the wrong thing. Because she doesn't know what my plans for the future are yet. She's going to be hearing this for the first time. So we're interested in all kinds of programming. And as you know with video, there are many different ways that it gets segmented, distributed, and has interest. BlogHer TV is a very specific little programming creature, which much to my dismay, it's taken me a very long time to find the content that I have, and I need a lot more. But it's a very specific thing. On BlogHer.com, once I finish rebuilding that site with my awesome co-workers who are all here, we'll be launching different channels on BlogHer.com that will allow for longer form programming. And there I think there's a whole world of opportunity for many different videos, because we've really been watching a lot of your videos lately, because I felt like, and now as I'm learning about video, I see that there's just different ways that it works. So what our goal always is to make plans to do things that will succeed, that will work for you, that work for the company, that work for our sponsors and partners. So that's what I hope to do. And by the way, I've watched your videos, and they are funny. So you do exist out in the world, and you've helped school me about video, so thank you for that.
I think we're at one more, and then we really need to go party. So
The last thing I would just say is please don't hesitate to use BlogHer.com, because any member who wants to come to BlogHer.com, tell the rest of the world what they're doing, and then link off to where they're doing it. Don't put your content on our site if you don't want to, but use it to recommend what you're doing. Use it as a portal to what you're up to. Market yourself. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Kim with Design Thoughts. Hello. Back to BlogHer TV, which is sounding very popular right now. I did not hear interior design mentioned. I'm an interior design blogger and a mommy. And I'm wondering if in the future there will be an outlet for DIY, interior design, home style.
The answer is yes. Okay. So just to clarify how BlogHer TV works, you don't have to produce video to have a BlogHer TV player on your site and be paid through a revenue share. We will, it's basically a 50-50 revenue share on the revenue from that. And, the advertising rates for videos start at $12 and go up to, $25. So that's a nice rate. But yes, we will be moving hard into style.
All right. I think that's a wrap. It is time to party and to support our fellow bloggers when they walk that runway.
Yes, have a
And
great
go
night.
Dance and eat food that may not be good for you and has a wonderful paper hat to wear on your head.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. Thank you very much.